Welcome to another episode of The Break Room. I'm your host, Lucinda Underwood. Today's topic is customer reviews, and joining me as my guest, here to share his expertise, is Alex Vaillancourt, third-generation owner of True Centre Auto in North Bay, Ontario. Alex, hi. Welcome to The Break Room. So good to have you here today.
Thanks for letting me be here.
Yeah, of course. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, we're going to be talking specifically about customer reviews today. But before we do that, I want to learn a bit more about you and your business. So maybe you could tell me a bit about how True Centre Auto first started.
Yeah, so we've been in North Bay since 1968. It was my grandfather that started up. Just as a two-bay muffler shop on the corner of Fisher and Main Street in North Bay. He eventually found out that he needed a bit more space because it wasn't a very big building. He erected a building, he put it up where we are at our current location, 1973. Later on, he sold the business to my uncle as well as my father. Now, my uncle since passed away in 2006, but my father bought it when he retired. And then he has since sold it to me in around the early stages of COVID. So we've grown from standard exhaust repairs to very advanced diagnostics and pretty well everything between when it comes to vehicles.
That is such an incredible journey and honestly rare for a business to be operating for that long. So that kind of leads me to ask you, how has the business changed in that time? You know, how does it operate differently, now compared to 50 years ago?
Yeah. So the business back in the day, my dad would say it was probably much simpler. I don't know how many times I've heard him say, "Man, I wish we could go back to exhaust repair. Wouldn't it be great if we just did exhaust all the time?" But unfortunately, we can't all get what we want, and time goes on. So technology advances, things change, and that's just what life is. So you can either get on the bus or get run over by it. So
Right.
we've invested a great deal of time, money to accommodate the new technology with great culture within the shop and the office. And the amount we're capable of today with the advancements of cars and ourselves, I'm quite proud of. I kind of wish I could show my grandfather today just to show what his little exhaust shop that he just started on a whim has become, just to kind of see the smile on his face to what the family business has become and that it's still going in a positive direction after all these years.
I'm sure he would be so proud as well. Yeah, that's quite the achievement. So as I said today, we're talking all about customer reviews, pretty hot topic, I would think, in the industry. So diving into that, how would you say, how important are customer reviews in your business to begin with, and what impact can they actually have?
So everything in our business as an auto repair facility can be complicated. It's unfortunate to say, but in the past has created a market that doesn't really trust a lot of people in auto repair. These practices that some old schoolers way back in the day may have used, which might I add, we have never used these practices, which has created that reputation because we've been built on honesty. But it's made it more difficult for the consumer to really trust shop credibility. And it's our job, I think, to provide transparency in all aspects of the business, to allow all clients to recognize how honest we can be, and that it's easy for them to get whatever they need done at any time so that they're comfortable and they're getting all their needs met or exceeding expectations.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. I mean, it is, automotive is one of those industries that still does have a little bit of a reputation to overcome. Things have changed a lot, but you really do have to put the time in, don't you? The time and effort to really focus on that transparency, on that communication with the customer. And that actually kind of leads on to the next question nicely as well, because, we see it a lot of the time. The general the general public, customers tend to be quicker to leave negative reviews maybe than they are to leave positive ones. So, what strategies do you use? How do you encourage your happy customers to leave positive reviews, whether it be on Google or Facebook or whatever platform?
So yeah, customer experience is what our business is built on. So we have every avenue open to clients to make it as easy as possible for them to provide feedback. Can be as simple as a QR code in the office that goes direct to Google or other online platforms, with written feedback, just with a simple suggestion box. We do follow-up text messages with links that go again directly to Google that are completely unfiltered to allow pure transparency with what everyone wants to say. Phone calls after every single service, as well as having an incentive for, like with those text messages, saying to, we'll make sure give you complimentary car wash the next time you're in, and giving them that little bit of extra to say how much we appreciate them taking the time to tell people about their experience, and making sure it's premium and again, either meet or exceed expectations every time.
There's a few things in there I love and I want to highlight. I think firstly, making it easy, right? Convenience is very, very important. And I think that does take some specific attention, doesn't it, to make it as easy as possible for the customer to share their thoughts. I also love that you said that you have that set up completely unfiltered as well. And that really shows that, you really pay attention to customer experience. Like you say, your company is rooted in customer experience, but also that you are open to all kinds of feedback and you want to hear suggestions and things like that. And I think that probably creates a great culture at the shop as well. Am I right in that assumption?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps everyone accountable also. So
love that. I love that. Now let's flip the coin to the other side. Let's say you get a negative review for whatever reason. How do you address those? What are some of the strategies that you use? Because obviously, you need to retain professionalism, right? But you can't just ignore them either. So a response is needed. So what do you do at True Center Auto to handle those situations?
So it's kind of comical because some people, especially within the shop, that know this, it's almost like I almost have an obsession with reviews. It's this odd thing because, again, it's just how important it is to keep a good presence in the community, even both reputation from word of mouth and online. So I monitor reviews several times a day to make sure everything's positive and well received, as well as in the reports from our thank you calls. Should anything come up that's less than desired, they're responded to, of course, respectfully in writing by email, text message to said review, and most importantly, they're getting a direct phone call from myself, and on every platform that we reach out to them, they get my direct cell phone number, like my personal line, to make sure they can reach out to me so I can help me understand what we could have done better, where the breakdown was, and how to avoid it from happening again in the future, and what do we need to do to fix it, basically. These things need to be resolved, and I've even gone as far in the past, a handful of times, actually going directly to someone's, whether it be their work, if we had that information, to just, in a non threatening way, just to approach them and find out and show them how important it is that I want to resolve this for you, and just help me understand, so then I can make it right if there's something we need to change.
I love that. And I mean, it shows, and I think by taking those steps, I mean, it really shows how much you care about your business, which I'm sure then, influences your team to care just as much. If they see you taking those steps. And I also love what you said about being obsessed. And the reason I love that, though, is customer experience is my wheelhouse, is my area. I train in the automotive industry, particularly for dealer groups, and all of my training is rooted in customer experience because I really believe, as do you, that it is the foundation of everything. And in order to do a good job, you do have to be obsessed with it. You have to create that culture of being obsessed that every customer leaves saying, wow, that was the best experience I've ever received. So I love it. I love talking to people that are on the same page as me, and really see the value on it. So going then, I just mentioned kind of your staff, and obviously I'm sure your the way you conduct yourself and with customers sort of filters down to those. But what about training? How do you specifically train your staff in how they interact with customers, and also things that they do to avoid issues and avoid those kind of negative comments or reviews? What do you got to share on that topic?
Yeah, so there's so many bits and pieces. It's definitely a loaded question because there's a lot of
we got time. We can talk about all the pieces. Yeah,
but there's a lot of touch points with that. All staff, both in the front office or technicians in the shop, as well as we have a brand ambassador to ensure that experience exceeds their expectations. At least that's the aim. It's the simple things that you wouldn't really think of, from, making sure that you smile, acknowledge someone's presence, within seconds of them being in the building, saying good morning or good afternoon, when you're in close proximity to the shop, even if it's a technician just, outside and they're, walking by a separate vehicle from that customer's, making sure that we document customers' birthdays, making sure we know, maybe it's their kid's first day at school or college, making them feel comfortable and open with our advisors, even, marking down that if they have pets that they're talking about in conversation. So then our brand ambassador can, make sure that we get a gift for someone's birthday when they're in office, or accommodate by, putting in we have little doggy bags with dog treats in it to put in that customer's car, knowing that they have pets. Again, even walking them out to their car, holding one of our shop umbrellas up to walk them to the car if it's raining out. Or pulling it right up to the door, so then they don't have to walk out in that storm. Right. It's just that much more comfort. So we want to make sure that everyone that comes through the door has a premium standard set consistently with every visit.
That's awesome. That really highlights, I think, the importance of what some people could say as small actions, but it's having that culture of hospitality, isn't it? Of, you are welcoming the customer into your business, and they are really a guest. They are a guest of honor, and you want to treat them with, to show them that you're happy that they're there, and you really want to be able to anticipate their needs. So I love that. I think a lot of people sometimes overlook those kind of things, and they overlook the impact that friendly hello or good morning, or, like you say, walking them out to the car with an umbrella. I mean, geez, if I had that experience, I would go nowhere else. No one likes getting their hair wet. You know what I'm saying?
No. And there's a lot of small puzzle pieces to have it all come together that way. But yeah, again, even just the smell in the front office when you walk in, you walk in and you're like, it smells like an auto shop in here, which is, it's what it is. But I mean, you just have, the right background to it. Like we have, I can't remember the scent that we have, but it's inspired by the Ritz-Carlton Hotel.
Oh, nice.
So it's, again, little things have an impact.
Yeah, you are speaking my language so much, because I really think our industry can take a lot from the hospitality industry, right? And especially luxury hospitality. And it does come down to thinking about those little things, the environment plays a huge part in experience, especially if you're having customers waiting for their vehicles. You know, you want to make sure they're comfortable and that it's a pleasant experience there too. You also said something else I want to highlight that and touch upon and just kind of chat about. You mentioned that, you know, you actually have your staff record information about customers so you can make sure you remember birthdays or special occasions or if they've got pets and things like that. And that was kind of making me think about, you know, we talked at the beginning about how, you know, the business has changed and the income of technology. What do you leverage technology-wise to use that? Do you have a CRM system that you use to kind of capture that data, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, so again, through the through our shop management system, I mean, we have automated text messages. You know, we can put out text blasts. You know, we work with teams to make those phone calls. But a lot of that information rides on those service advisors really paying attention and being able to spend the time with each person that they're dealing with. Was it, you know, a minimum of 15 to 20 minutes per RO? You know, is what you should be spending. So you can accumulate this information to make sure that, you know, they deal with a person from start to end, and they can have all that key information to make sure that, you know, that wow factor is there when we can provide it. So it's just a little, you know, catching people by surprise when they're not expecting it.
Right.
Like it's,
yeah, absolutely. And because I've always said the way to achieve loyalty is by exceeding expectations. You have to have that surprise element to it. And that leads me to wonder as well. I mean, I'm going slightly off script here, but this is such a great topic and one that I'm very, very interested in myself. You know, when you hire staff, are you looking for specific skills or attitudes in order to be able to fit that hospitality culture that you have at the shop?
In all truth, I think that's been said in other industries in the past, but if you were to put it on a graph, I would rather have a trustworthy, good attitude person with a medium performance or skill level than have a high performer with a low trust level. You can train everything with people. So it's just, you know, if I'm at a restaurant and I get a waitress or a waiter that's excessively bubbly, that's just personable, and I like talking to them, and if I am looking for a brand ambassador that, you know, because the position came open, you know, I might talk to that person. They don't need to be from our industry. They just need to have the right attitude and be able to learn and grow in that direction. So it's all about how you portray yourself.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, we've, you know, in this season, you know, there's various topics that we've been discussing. And one, you know, is about kind of culture, identifying culture and identifying people that fit that. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you know, I can't remember who said it originally. It's definitely not a Lucy original, but, you know, hire for attitude, train for aptitude. Because if you have somebody who has the attitude, the kind of attitude that you want, they're also going to be very motivated to learn as well and become the best at what they do. It's just taking the time to focus on training, I think, is the big part there, right? And having that learning culture among your team. Would you agree?
Yeah, you need proper onboarding procedure. And again, if you have the tools set right, you know, that person is also more likely to be with you longer.
Right.
So you need to have the supports while also having guardrails there to make sure that they feel safe in the direction they're going.
Yeah, but
not
I mean,
aimlessly.
Yeah, absolutely. And that raises a really good point as well, is, you know, the employee experience you provide as an owner or a leader is going to directly impact the experience of your customers as well. You know, we can't overlook that. You know, we need to have that set up for our employees and need for them to be happy in their role as well to provide that level of customer experience, right? All right, well, we're getting kind of close to time here. I could talk about this stuff with you all day. It fascinates me. I think, some of the things that we've discussed, I think will certainly be very helpful for some other shop owners out there. Maybe they are starting to kind of reassess their culture, or maybe they are kind of struggling with some customer reviews. So I'm so grateful for you taking the time to chat with me today. Really, really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing your expertise and knowledge on the subject.
Yeah, and to add additional to that, I think the biggest thing for anyone that's trying to get better at these things, you need to reach out and speak with other people. No one knows everything. You've got to have a group of people you can bounce conversation ideas off of, and that way, you think you're doing everything really well, and then you go see something else, and then go, boy, I didn't know that you could do it that well. And so you just always learn and adapt. That's all it is.
That, and that's such a great point to finish on as well, encouraging that collaboration. I'm sure you probably have a network of other shop owners that you you chat with.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that can be a really powerful tool. So I love that you brought that up. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching this episode of The Break Room, driven by Shop Pros. To learn more about what Shop Pros can do for your business, check out shoppros.com. If you like this episode, please leave us a comment or a review, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. The Break Room, where great automotive minds meet.